The Beldam, commonly known as the Other Mother, was an evil entity that existed as early as the 1700s. It is not known when the Other Father came into existence, but one line in the book suggests that it was long before the Beldam created the illusion of the other world. He tells Coraline, "There isn't anywhere but here. This is all she made. The house, the grounds, and the people in the house. She made it, and she waited." This suggests that the Other Father was around to see the creation of the house, the rats, the dog bat things, and the other Miss Spink and Forcible. And in the movie, the Other Wivey, who is not in the book. But unlike any of those creatures, the Other Father demonstrates a will of its own to fight back against the influence of the Beldam. To explore the true nature of the mysterious being behind the facade of the Other Father, stick around to the end of this video. The Other World is the creepy, harrowing, alternate realm adjacent to Coraline's home. It was created by the Beldam, looking to feast on the souls of whatever children it can lure into its domain. Everything it created was a twisted copy of something from Coraline's world, except for the Other Father, who seems to have existed long before Coraline's real father was in the picture. Welcome to horror history. I'm going to explore the entire history of the Other Father, including the dark truth only seen in the book, but before I do, I've got to really quickly mention this episode's sponsor, Raycon. What else can I say that I haven't already said about the everyday E25 earbuds? So many of you have already voiced your satisfaction after picking up your pair using my link for 15% off. You'll get 6 hours of playtime, seamless Bluetooth pairing, more bass, a more compact design that gives you a nice noise isolating fit. Just ask some of your favorite celebrities, Michael Myers, The Invisible Man, Llama Arts. I'm out of time, but get yours. Buyraycon.com/CZsWorld, link in the description, 15% off. Buyraycon.com/CZsWorld forever. How did the Other Father get to the Beldam's world? Based on the information available in the book, there are 2 possibilities. One is that it was actually the initial inhabitants. It was there before the Beldam discovered the realm and made it into her lair, killing whatever other creatures dwelled there, and keeping this one around only to do her bidding. The Other Father is described as a huge, white, swollen monster with a vague face like pale clay. It had something that resembled a nose, and the mouth does not appear when closed, but opens up with sticky, pale strands when open. The skin is described similar to warm bread dough, and when Coraline meets it has black button eyes, but those were probably not originally part of its anatomy, likely added by the Other Mother as a sign that she had taken its soul. This leads me to the second possibility about the Other Father's origins. It may have been one of the previous victims of the Beldam. When Coraline meets the ghost children, their souls have been separated from their bodies, and they're no longer able to remember details about their true selves. What if after the Beldam begins feasting on the souls, the bodies associated with them lose their detail and lose what makes them them? There are 3 ghost children whose souls have been taken, 2 girls and 1 boy. The Other Mother has 3 accomplices, 2 female and 1 male. Remember, Wybie isn't in the book, and the man upstairs is actually just a pack of rats in human clothing. So the Other Father may have originally been the body of the young ghost boy that was sucked of its individuality by the Beldam and then reformed and reconfigured to look like Coraline's father. The idea is backed up when Coraline has this realization. These things, even the thing in the cellar, were illusions. Things made by the Other Mother in a ghastly parody of real people and real things on the other end of the corridor. She could not truly make anything, decided Coraline. She could only twist and copy and distort things that already existed. When the Jones family moved to the house, the Beldam wanted to turn the other world into an ideal paradise for Coraline in order to trick her into staying, and so formed herself and her prisoners into ideal versions of the people in Coraline's life. The real Mr. Jones, not the one from the Counting Crow song, but Coraline's dad, makes recipes that are too complex for Coraline's simple taste buds, but the Chad Other Father makes her delicious midnight snacks and hot chocolate. Coraline first meets her Other Father after arriving in the other world when her Other Mother tells her to go fetch him for lunch. She finds him in his study with big black shiny buttons for eyes. He claims that he's starving and that they've been waiting for her for a long time. We know that the Beldam doesn't thrive on real food, but rather feasts on children's souls. So it's possible that she made the Other Father say this line about being hungry just to add authenticity to the illusion. In this analysis, I'm looking at the character from the book, not the movie, but the book doesn't tell us whether or not the Other Father actually eats the food. In the movie, he does, whereas the Other Mother does not. She only eats insects and souls.
She just loves something to eat.
Eat? That's ridiculous.
Another possibility is that the Beldam is unable to suppress her subconscious desires from manifesting in the Other Father while she's controlling him. Again, I'm hesitant to bring this up because it's only in the movie, not the book, but when he sings the song for Coraline, he's being controlled by these hands created by the Other Mother.
Soviet Russia.
This piano plays me.
And the lyrics of the song call her a peach, a doll, and cute as a button.
She's a peach, she's a doll, she's a pal of mine. She's as cute as a button in the eyes of everyone who ever laid their eyes on Coraline.
Calling her a doll and a button shows the Beldam's desire to take her soul and sew buttons over her eyes, and calling her a peach shows that the Beldam sees her as a tasty snack.
Who's starving? Raise your hand. Whoa!
Again, it's not his hands that rise, it's the Beldam's hands controlling him. But going back to the book now, the other father remains mostly passive in the coming scenes. He helps the other mother clean up for lunch, and when Coraline goes outside to explore, he tells her they'll be waiting for her to come back with smiles and waves. When she gets back, he is the one to suggest that if she likes it in their world, she can stay forever by letting them sew the buttons over her eyes. He tries to assure her that it won't hurt, which only makes her think that it definitely will. Coraline goes back to her own world to discover her real parents have gone missing, so eventually she has to return to the Beldam's world to try to win them back. But when she does, she notices some strange new behavior coming from her other father. When Coraline returns to the alternate world, she's greeted by her other mother. But her other father is just strangely sitting in a chair in the hallway before he stands up to greet her. The other mother at least does stuff. She has things of her own to tend to, but the other father is almost like an item, just waiting to be used by her. But it seems that her ability to manipulate him is dictated by some kind of energy, because when Coraline first arrives, everything is set up perfectly to make him almost indistinguishable from her real father. But as she grows more and more hungry, the cracks in his facade are starting to show, and she's not able to have full control over him all of the time. When Coraline asks why they don't have their own key for the door between the two worlds, he blurts out an answer. "There is only one key, only one door," said the other father. "Hush," said the other mother. "You must not bother our darling Coraline's head with such trivialities." This is the first time he says something out of line, meaning that her control over him could be slipping. He gets even weirder the next morning when Coraline goes into his study looking for the other mother. He sat at his desk, not actually doing anything, not even pretending to be doing anything. She also notices that his face looks more vague, describing it as looking like a bread dough that has begun to rise. He tells her that the other mother is outside fixing the doors, so she tries to engage him in conversation. Instead of the usual friendly attitude he puts on, he tells her that he's not allowed to talk to her, but he'll continue to be hospitable once the other mother is back. But when Coraline tells him that she's gonna go exploring, he accidentally slips up and tells her there's no point because the Beldam didn't create anything further than the eye can see. He looked embarrassed, and he put one finger to his lips again, as if he had just said too much. He is the only character to demonstrate the free will to say what he wants, but the other mother punishes him for exercising this ability by locking him away in the cellar underneath the abandoned flat. He also continues to lose whatever resemblance he has left to Coraline's real father, and by the time Coraline finds him down there, he's swelled out into this monstrous form, with only his voice somewhat resembling that of the original other father, and his two black button eyes signifying he's still under control of the Beldam. She would use that control as a trap for Coraline. At this point, the creature has had enough, and is trying to fight back against the other mother. Coraline figures out that he's been locked away as punishment for his loose lips earlier, and the creature nods to confirm. He also tries to warn her.
"Run, child. Leave this place. She wants me to hurt you, to keep you here forever, so you can never finish the game and she will win. She is pushing me so hard to hurt you. I cannot fight her."
The movie is a little bit different. In the movie, there's no cellar scene, and the other father seems to have been crafted using a pumpkin from the garden. But as time goes on, he loses his father-like qualities and becomes more Halloween-y. But the way he tries to fight the Beldam's control is very similar. Roll it.
Sorry. So sorry. Mother making me. Don't wanna hurt you. Take it.
In the book, when the other mother tries to make it attack her, Coraline encourages it to be brave, which is interesting because from the very beginning, the other mother has been trying to make this thing into an ideal version of Coraline's dad. However, it seems the one thing that she didn't teach it was bravery, and Coraline's real dad was the one to teach Coraline the concept of bravery after this one incident where they accidentally walked into a swarm of wasps, and he had to stay back and let them sting him in order for her to get away. I guess the message here is that you can dress someone up and make them appear a certain way, but you can't create bravery artificially. That's something you must learn from experience. However, the monster was not able to hold off the Beldam any longer. It moved between her and the steps, cutting off her exit, and it gradually grew in size, its voice becoming less and less human, before finally it lunged across the room towards her. After seeing the monster looking lost after one of its button eyes had fallen off earlier, she ripped off the second eye, causing it to roar in pain and charge the area that it had last seen her standing, but it was too slow. Its only option was to go quiet and listen. It could hear her tiptoeing up the steps, and it took off after her, but she was too quick and it crashed against the trap door above as she closed it, perhaps being forever trapped and forgotten. Never again do we see the horror that temporarily masqueraded as the other father, leaving both its origins and its fate a mystery that I can only speculate on as I have in this video. But if not for the creature's timely rush of courage, our hero may have never been warned of the Beldam's nasty deceptions, and likely would have been the next victim to be used and abused by the other mother. Click the video on the left for my complete playlist of Coraline character histories, including Coraline, the Beldam, and Wybie. And if you love horror, make sure you subscribe to CZsWorld for new horrors every week, ring the death bell for notifications, and I'll see you in the next one. Assuming we stay inside.